Hello and welcome to the Overland Legend. I'm Alan. It's been 6 years that I've been restoring this 1955 107 and I'm at the end now. So if this is the first video that you're watching or if it's the last one, either way you're in for a treat, because today I'm going to share with you exactly what it looks like finished and just talk about what I've done and what it was like restoring this Landy. And then I've got something special, some really amazing, never seen before, cool footage that I found. So stick around and I'll show you that a little bit later. This restoration series, I did 27 videos in total. This is the 27th video. So if you haven't seen the other videos, then please go and have a look at the playlist Restoring a Legend, and there you'll be able to see all the detail of what I did in the different stages of the restoration, and then also the story about where I found the Landy. Talking about where I found the Landy, so remember I said I've got some amazing, cool, never seen before footage. Well, that's exactly what I've got for you now. And Brian found this footage that Shelley shot when they were on this trip to the Piet Retief area doing GPS tracking on a 4x4 route, and they were just going over the hills, and as they came down a hill into the valley and then drove up that hill, when they got to the top of the hill there was a surprise waiting for them right on the top. And as they came over, there it was, that Series 1 sitting under the tree. And here Brian's just having a look at it, the first time that they actually spotted it and checking it out. So this is the vehicle that I've got now, and it's just so amazing to actually find this footage and have a look at the day that they actually found it. It was quite a while after this that we went to collect it and retrieve it from the side of this mountain, and that I did do a video on in one of my very first videos in the series, so you can have a look at that. But this is the really cool footage, so it's just so nice to have this and share this as I've actually finished this whole series now and started to enjoy this finished restored vehicle. Yeah, so it's done now, and it's quite strange. I've been reflecting on it for the last week or two, and you know, honestly it feels like there's something missing, because you know, you're so focused on doing this, and it's almost everything you think about, and you've been doing it. I've been doing it for so long, it kind of becomes a way of life. And you know, the commitments that you make to time and the commitments to budget, and you're looking for parts and you're trying to fix things, you're taking things apart, you're reassembling things, you're cleaning things, you're painting things. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, and that's all gone now. Yeah, so no more. We're now into a new era, and that's with a finished restored vehicle, which is what I've been looking forward to. So I'm sure I'll get over that feeling of not having anything to do now, and I will be able to enjoy it, and that's really what I want to do. And so far it is bringing a very, very big smile to my face. So let's get into what this Landy looks like, and let me show you now what the finished product is. Okay, so let's start with the chassis. So it is the original chassis, but I did have to make quite a lot of repair work on it, and Charles did that for me. There was a lot of sections, especially in the front here, and then lots of pieces in the middle that had to be repaired. So, but it is still the good old original chassis, and did a really fantastic job on this. One of the spring hangers also was broken, so that was fixed. But it looks really good, and it's all ready, good to go. Then the firewall, that was also a big story. The firewall was really badly rusted, so most of the firewall's actually been rebuilt. Just these pieces are the original pieces, but the rest of it has been rebuilt, and also by Charles, and done an absolutely fantastic job. So the firewall is new. Then the axles on the front, I did have an original axle, but I didn't use it because I didn't have one at the back. So what I've done is I've actually replaced the two axles with Series 3 axles from a short wheelbase. So they are changed. And then the brakes, 11-inch brakes all round. And then also put in new brake pipes and all new cylinders and everything. So all of that stuff is new. And then wheels, I've put 750 16s on, which is not standard. It comes out with 700, but this is just easier to find, and I'm used to using them. And because I've got a slightly bigger engine, it should be fine. And I think the look is perfect. So it looks nice, and I went for these super old grip general tires. So that's on the tire side. And the prop shafts also are original, just been reconditioned. So those are the original prop shafts that I had in. And then the gearbox is the original gearbox that's been reconditioned as well, and that seems to be really working nicely. And then the pedal, the clutch mechanism, and the brake, all the original pedals and mechanisms. I've had to get some new bushes and replacement shafts, so in some of them I had to have machines, so I did that. But other than that, the whole mechanism is the original parts that I've got here, so that's all working like it should. Then the steering box is from a later Series 2. I replaced the original worm and nut with this recirculating ball type. Simply because it was also, it just works better. It was actually an upgrade at the time in these vehicles when the old ones broke, and with these wheels it's just going to be a bit easier, so I changed that. And then that also just meant that the steering column changed, because I couldn't then use the original dip switch and horn that goes in the middle, so I've changed that, and I had to make some changes to that. Then on the engine side, I have changed the engine. I did have an original engine. The engine that I had was, when we got the vehicle, we had the engine, but I was never really planning to use it. And then sadly we got rid of that engine. I would have liked to have had it today, but anyway, I've changed that engine. So the engine is the 2.25 petrol. It comes from an earlier Series 2. And it goes really nicely, so I'm very happy with that. I did redo the head and the valve guides and the seals, and set everything, and that all looks good. So it's really going nicely and working well. And then on here I've got a Weber carb that I fitted, and then also fitted the AccuSpark electronic ignition. So that also makes a big difference, and it's really running nicely. Other than that, it's quite standard in here. I did have to change the accelerator linkage system, so that's from a normal Series 2. And then the battery bracket I also had to change to fit the bigger air cooler in, so that it lowers the air cooler and it fits under the bonnet. So that was that change. And then on the front, the radiator, I didn't have the original radiator, so I fitted a Series 3 radiator. and I had to make some adjustments to make that fit, but that has also fitted in quite nicely. And then the wiring harness is from AccuSpark, and it is a Series 107 wiring harness that I had modified or ordered so that it can fit the alternator. So this engine has an alternator, so it has that, and then also has the indicators. So that was how I fitted the wiring. And then the other part on the wiring that's different is I did fit some relays for the headlights. So the headlights are sealed beam halogen that are fitted, and they've got relays. And then the rest of the lights are I try to keep them as standard as possible. So these are double filament, so they've got an indicator and the parking light. So that's what I've got on the lights on the front. And then on the back, I've got as close as I could get to the original. It's not the original light, but it's sort of a period light with the indicator and stop light. And then there is a light for the number plate as well. So that's basically as simple as the electrics are on the outside. Looking at the body, the whole body is original. The only parts that I didn't have when I got the vehicle was the tailgate. So it didn't come with a tailgate, and that also I had made, Charles made that. So this is a brand new tailgate that he made. Luckily I managed to source the cappings. So these cappings I sourced, and then this is a remanufactured tailgate, and I mean there's no ways you can actually tell the difference. It's exactly to specification, so it looks perfect and that fits nicely. So that's a new part. The back is the original, and I managed to fix it up quite nicely, which is good, and it's worked out. You can see it's still got some dent things in, but that's part of it. The cab, lower cab, everything, that's all original. Roof is original. The doors are original. Just the door skins, the bottom door skins, well, and these door skins are new. They were replaced. They were very badly damaged, so I changed that. And then the right hand side door did have to have the top piece remade, and again also Charles helped me out with that and made that, so that piece is made. But again, if you look at it, you can't even tell that it's different. And then in the front, the wings and everything are the same. And then the bonnet is also new, or a replacement bonnet, because the original that I had was in a very bad state and actually just couldn't be repaired, so I got another bonnet. And then the windscreen and the windscreen frame and everything is also original. Here also there was quite a lot of stuff that was here. I had I had the seat box I did have, and the floorboards, and I just didn't have this piece, so this I had to have remanufactured. The rest was there. That is the original plate with the chassis number on. And then the instruments were just very badly damaged, so I had to have them all replaced and fixed, and I really got a lot of help from fellow Land Rover owners, and Owen Walton helped me out with this instrument cluster, which was fantastic. And then Fletch helped me out with the dashboard, with the actual panel. The one that I had was badly bent, and I actually lost it. I don't know what happened to it, so that was fine. And then I bought the rest of the instrument pieces I bought. I did have an old speedometer, luckily, so I could reuse that. And then I had to put in this indicator because I didn't have another indicator system, so I've put one of these in. Also, it's sort of quite period and works quite nicely. And then, as I mentioned, the steering I had to change, and so I put the hooter onto this arm. And here again, I got helped out by Graham in Zim with this arm, and he found it for me. And you can buy these hooters, so the hooter button. So I've put that on. So that's all also from the right time. And then the wiper motors, I had one and I found another one and have reconditioned them. These are all reconditioned. They are a little bit tired, but they still work, and I've managed to fix them and resuscitate them, so that's all fine. And then in the roof, everything's the same. Then at the back also, the last couple of last episodes that I had was about putting this backlight in. So I didn't have, I only had these channels, these two channels, and these pieces I had to have made. And again, with the help of some people, some friends, Louis Powell helped me out with some drawings for that, and then had these pieces remade from aluminium, and then just got some perspex cut and put it in. And then these seats I splashed out and got these seats from Exmoor in the UK. I'm really happy that I did. This is a sort of an original pattern from that time, and it's just really worked out nicely, and I'm glad I did that and got that. And then these are just actually Series 2 mats that I got, and then just modified them a little bit. They just have to be cut a little bit, so I adjusted them. But otherwise, everything is looking good. Put some window locks on. These aren't the original window locks. These are from a Series 2, but they also fit and they work perfectly well. And then, as I showed, I just finished the door tops recently, and that whole system works quite nicely, so that's good. And then these are the reconditioned door handles. I'm using them for now. They seem to be working all right, and I'll just keep them going until I have a problem. I need to try and find a way to put a lock on there. So that's the inside. As to the nuts and bolts, I've tried to use the original Whitworth bolts wherever I could, and luckily I had all of these screws that I could use, so I've used those bolts where I can. But where I didn't, I've used UNF bolts. So these ones are also still the original Whitworth bolts, and then I've made up with the rest. I've used UNF bolts for the ones that I didn't have the right ones. And then in terms of screws, I've used, where I can, the BA screws, and like these ones. So these are the original screws. But then when I didn't have those, I've gone to some look-alike stainless steel screws. So I've used those for the other areas. So my approach has been on this restoration is that I wanted to get this vehicle to look as original as I could, but I wanted to be quite usable. So I wanted to just to make it a little bit more usable where I could without detracting from the looks. And so that's why wherever I can, I've tried to keep it original, but then with some more practical parts like the engine and the axles, I've changed those. But you know, when you look at it just from the outside, it's not easily noticeable, and it still looks right, and it still feels right. And then yeah, the only things that I've left patina are this badge, and then the inside the badge for the chassis number plate I didn't change or paint, and I've just left that as it was when I got it and when we found it. So that's basically how I've done it. And yeah, there are still dents and things, so like these handles, I did straighten them a bit, but they're the original handles and I haven't changed them. So there's a little bit of new and a little bit of old. It's a new badge and a mix of everything, but just trying to make it look and feel as original as possible. So that's it. It's all finished now. Well, sort of. It's a Land Rover, remember, so there's going to be maintenance. And as I sit here now, there are already a few items that I've had a look and thought, maybe I need to change that, adjust that, fix that. But nothing major, and that's how it goes. But in terms of the restoration, it's done and it's all finished. So don't fear, it's not the last you will see of this Landy. You will see lots more of it. So just some maintenance as we go along, and then obviously some trips and just living with it, driving it, using it, enjoying it. So that's going to be what's going to happen with this Landy from now on. Otherwise, I'm going to take a bit of a break from restoring. I do have my short wheelbase still to do, but that's going to be done in a while. I need to just take a bit of time off and enjoy the time now. So thank you so much for all of those of you who have watched me, have watched this series and followed it. I really appreciate it, all the comments that I got from all of you. Lots of people commenting very often, and I really appreciate it. So to all of you, there's quite a lot, and I can't name everyone, but I just really appreciate it. And you know, it's a long, hard process to get this done, and the encouragement that you get from people, and the enjoyment and the support, and from everyone who helped out with advice, and then also parts and sourcing things, and yeah, just lots of phone calls to people, and all sorts of things. So very, very grateful for all of the support from everybody on this build, and it's been absolutely amazing, and it's really nice to have it finished. So thank you so much once again, and please stick around, and I will see you around in some other videos. So thank you so much. Cheers.